Hello, I am Dahlia, and I will be presenting the Animal Crossing Diaries presented by the National Video Game Museum in England as my featured digital library. And this digital library mainly focuses on the game Animal Crossing New Horizons. Instead of like Animal Crossing as a whole, it is a very robust game where there's so many games available, but this one focuses on New Horizons. In this game, you are a human who is living on an island, which was sold to you as a vacation package by a tanuki named Tom Nook. Um, you are also there with different anthropomorphic animals. These animals are were also sold the same vacation package, and the island is completely bare. So your job in this game is to pay off your debt, pay off that vacation package, meet new islanders, decorate your island, and find new resources for you to build houses and tools and all that other stuff. Digital library collects diary entries submitted by Animal Crossing players to document experiences during COVID-19 and understand ways that we interacted with each other during the pandemic through the game. For a lot of us, we could not leave our houses. We were encouraged to stay at home um, unless it was to get groceries or get gas. And we were very hesitant to meet up with friends. And at the time, this game dropped a week or two after we were encouraged to stay home. Um, the game has an island hopping feature, so you can go to other people's islands and interact with their home and help them build if they want or need that. There's also a chat option, which made the game easier for social interactions. Also want to mention that this digital library is completely online and available for all to browse. You are also able to submit your own diary entries. The stakeholders who made this possible are the National Video Game Museum. They operate the digital library, and the Esme Fairbairn Collections Foundation, who provides funding for this project. It operates through the NVM or the National Video Game Museum website. However, it doesn't cooperate with other digital libraries. This is the only digital library or archive available on the National Video Game Museum's website. The user communities for this digital library are Animal Crossing fans, gamers, um, social scientists and internet historians, and those trying to look for ways to stay connected. We're not through the pandemic, and there's a lot of people who are still fearful of going outside or are immunocompromised, so they're very careful. Um, this provides them a way of interaction without physical contact during this time. So for this digital library, unfortunately, there was no formal collections development policy. However, they are looking for submissions that could or can include video game bulletins. You can make bulletin board comments or draw on your Nintendo Switch and post on your bulletin board. So those are accepted. Photos, screenshots, and text entries. There is an oral history interview section available, and it is recorded through or made available through the Spotify podcasts. It's like a little widget that shows up on the oral history pages. Um, it looks like the museum curates the submission for appropriateness, so they can decide what is up and what isn't up. As previously mentioned, anyone can submit their entries as long as it pertains to playing Animal Crossing during the pandemic. Um, The entries are still, you're still able to submit entries. However, for right now, it looks like the scope of this project was the beginning of the pandemic, March 2020 to 2021. The diaries are organized in two different ways. There are collections, which you can search through or go through, and then there is a timeline. So the the timelines are um, organized by data and topic, or like their date and topic. The oral histories took place specifically in December of 2021. These It looks like those were organized by date of submission. Specific metadata standards cannot be identified for these. I tried contacting them, but I wasn't able to hear back in time for the project. Here's an example of the diary topics. There is keeping a routine, making your space, representing yourself, sharing creativity, and staying in touch. My two favorites are the making your space and representing yourself. Um, Most of the making your space ones are island related, and I want to see what people are doing with their islands and how they've decorated parts of their island. I also like the representing yourself tag because um, I like the clothes in Animal Crossing and I wish they were real. With that, most, if not all, of the posts are tagged with one of these topics. So you can click and search through all of the posts that have a specific topic related to it. As previously mentioned, the coverage is from March 2020 to 2021. The submissions are mainly organized by date. It is a timeline, so that would make sense. The entries include username, a personal name, and can include the Animal Crossing island code, which is used to hop from your island to another person's island. The timeline organizes posts by if they fall into a particular category and happen during a specific time. There was a Black Lives Matter one where a lot of people were hosting Black Lives Matter's protests on their island, which was really exciting and interesting as a way to see how people are using the game for activism. Um, the submission form also informs the submitter that the museum is required to record the provenance of the objects, and the National Video Game Museum is holding their personal information securely as part of the item's record. The items can also be shared with researchers. That was just a condition of submission. You can ask for your submitted post to be removed by emailing them and providing your email address so they know that your post corresponds to the correct person. I also wanted to show you the oral history portion, which can be found under the further reading tab. It includes the Spotify text and other texts as well, a summary of what happened. I wish they had transcribed oral history sections, but they are posted through Spotify and use a widget on the web page for viewers to listen. Available to all online. It is part of the free web. They also have a search engine function, which in my opinion doesn't work very well. It sifts through all of the text in some of the diary submissions, but excludes the tags for the oral history. The oral histories are not very organized. They're just kind of thrown on one page. The archive material also provides a glossary, which is very helpful. This is used to understand specific Animal Crossing related terms like turnips, which is kind of like stock, the stock market. It does not provide a contact us form either, but one can be found through the National Video Game Museum website if you have further inquiries. The site requires very basic knowledge of website navigation. All it is hovering and clicking on specific topics and posts. Video capabilities are required to enjoy the whole of the oral histories and diaries. There are a few videos that were submitted that there's one that's like a movie that somebody made using their Animal Crossing Islanders and um, reactions. It's really funny. Um, but yeah, to enjoy everything, you would have to have audio and video capabilities. There isn't a specific research and development problem that the digital library is addressing yet. But I think they kind of took a look forward into studies about what people might research in the future, um, just because the main goal of this digital library is to make sure that we archive Animal Crossing related interactions because it was a huge source of social interaction between friends. It was a very good medium for hanging out. Some used it for activism, um, and it was a very artistic yet fun way of documenting everything that was going on. At the bottom of every page, you'll find this icon that says Have a Special Story. It will take you to the page where you can read through the conditions of submission and you can submit your diary, whether it is a video, a photo, a board, um, whatever you want. The submission is through a Google Sheet questionnaire or a Google form. Uh, they collect information and might share your information with researchers and for academic and heritage purposes. They say that your personal information will not be provided to them. To the Animal Crossing Diaries oral history, and here's another link to the National Video Game Museum. I really appreciate it, and I had a wonderful semester. I hope you all take care and stay safe.